I'm going to be completely honest. When I started today, I actually thought I'm going to go in for this with a much more positive outlook. I'm not going to get dragged into this doom and gloom and fans getting quite upset about the fact that we haven't signed anybody yet, which don't get me wrong, well within their right to feel like that. I have been feeling like that for the last few days. But I thought, do you know what, today I'm going to go a bit more of a positive outlook and think, actually, look, we've still got a bit of time before the start of the season. We've still got a while to the end of the transfer window. And there's other things to be positive about. You know, we've got Carlos Borges deal was done and all this, well, basically nearly done, etc., etc. So it's all looking pretty, you know, I was trying to go into today feeling a lot better. And then I'm reminded of the football club that I follow and the team that I love and what a shambles really, you know, this football club is at times. And as I recall this is really hot off the press. I was preparing another video. We're going to talk about Scamacca. That's now going to come tomorrow. Because this one's had to be spoken about now. Carlos Borges is going to Ajax by the looks of it. The deal looks like the West Ham deal was collapsed. I mean, first of all, before I go completely nuts and to try to keep emotions in check here, let's just go through it. Okay, right. So West Ham were interested. It was reported by XWHU employee at the beginning of June this summer. West Ham were very interested in Carlos Borges. He was an option, and let's be honest, a really exciting one. Man City highly rate him, and funny enough, we did an article on it today from Real Talk Manchester City from Twitter, who basically said, you know, highly rated. Man City don't want to let him go. That's how fans don't want to see him go from the club. That's how good he is. Man City, of course, wanted this buyback clause. All these things highlighting what a good player this is. Young, fast, quick. Exactly what we want to see at West Ham. You know, something to get excited about and look forward to the future. So it's always been something that while this transfer window has been slow and painful, and a bit of a mess, a complete mess, the Carlos Borges thing kind of made you feel more, it gave a little bit of a light, didn't it, to it? A little bit of like, well, at least we've got that. We know that's done. We can now start looking forward. So the story was that we got the terms agreed originally. I think that was about 2.5 weeks ago now that we agreed terms with Manchester City. Personal terms have been agreed. Then we had the delays. And then this is where the West Ham factor starts coming into play. The mess that our football club is. So the first factor was we couldn't agree on a sell-on clause. I don't know why we can't agree on things. It seems that West Ham aren't able to ever do. We can't agree on anything, can we? When it comes to any other club, when it comes to buying a player, selling a player, whatever we're doing, whether we want to do something at the stadium, whether we want to do something, whatever it is that this football club tried to do, we never seem to be able to agree on anything, ever. It always seems everything seems to be a problem. And the sell-on clause was a problem for some bizarre reason. However, that does seem to apparently was getting close to agreement. Don't know what that means because it's been, like, as I say, in 2.5 weeks, but there we go. XWHU employee also put up another update on the situation, which was earlier, and said that there was a couple of factors that the West Ham are kind of saying that other reasons why there was a delay. Let's get the West Ham excuses. Let's roll them out now. What's the next excuse? The next excuse was the City were in South Korea. City were in South Korea, and because they were in South Korea, they wanted to see at the end of the tour just to double check they didn't have any injuries. Not sure if I believe that because the player hasn't even played for Man City's senior team, so I'm struggling to believe that one. But apparently that was one of the excuses that the club have stated. That was the reason that was holding it up. And then the other part of the next excuse or the next reason for the player isn't, basically these are reasons why the player isn't at West Ham, by the way. This is what West Ham are saying. It was that the player's on holiday. He's away because he played, I think it was under 21s for Portugal, and meant he had an extra time off, so he wasn't going to be back till August the 6th, we were told. Okay, that seems quite plausible, but again, why can't we get things over the line? I'm not sure. And I'll tell you what, this development proves that West Ham, it's just excuses. Once again, more nonsense coming from West Ham and our terrible management and how awful we are at dealing with business. It just comes to fruition once again, because it's now been reported that Ajax have hijacked the deal. And not only it sounds like to me that you sort of think, okay, they've just put a bid in. Because that's what you kind of imagine when you Ajax have come in the last minute and gone, oh, I'll tell you what, we'll offer you a bit of money. That's when I first read it, that's what I thought was happening. I thought, but no. The players agreed it. The player wants to go. The player's going to be now giving up for a medical. So what have we been doing then? Why is it that Ajax can come in and just like that, terms are agreed, everything's sorted, done, and the player's now gearing up for his medical? How is that possible? Well, we know why it's possible, because they're not West Ham United. They're not a money-grabbing, obsessive club that can't ever get a deal over the line because they're absolutely hell-bent, or we've got an owner that's hell-bent on getting a deal with every single purchase. Anything we do, it's got to be a bargain. It's got to be a deal. We never ever, when have you ever known West Ham just to go in and buy a player? That's the player we want, get him done. It's just not in our nature, unless, of course, it's a panic buy, which no doubt we'll be doing, by the way, at the end of the summer anyway. So all this penny pinching we're doing, it won't come to much anyway, because we've got to spend over the odds at last minute, because that's what we'll end up doing, because it's the shambles that this football club is. Now, I really appreciate that I'm sort of going a little bit off on, getting a bit emotional with this, but I am really, really angry at this one. I'm angry in general, really, at West Ham. As I said, I started today trying to be positive and thinking, no, I'm not going to get caught up in all of this frustration, and because it's so easy to. All you got to do is just read Twitter. You know what I mean? Just for 5 minutes, and you just like you feel yourself getting angry and wound up with what you're reading. So I just thought, well, no, I'm going to not do that. I'm going to try and step back, look at the situation, and think, is it that bad? Is it really that bad? It's not good. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not sitting there going, oh, it's actually great. But I was thinking, maybe it's not as bad as we think. Maybe, I mean, funnily enough, I did a recording with Dave Walker yesterday for the Patreon, for the podcast. And we were talking about this. And basically I was saying to Dave, that maybe, look, let's be honest, if by the end of the week West Ham got 2 or 3 players, or cut the players in, the mood would change very quickly. My mind's always been that West Ham had Carlos Borges in the bag, because we did. The deal was agreed. The personal terms were agreed. The fee was agreed. It was just this buyback clause, but it's just typical West Ham. Dilly-dallying, waiting and considering, and we're pondering, and we're waiting on this, we're weighing things up. It's a stupid tactic for everything we do, and we never seem to be learning from it and thinking, just get the deal done. The player's on holiday. Get a plane out there then. Go and meet the player on his holiday. Say, we will, or fly him back and say, on our expense, and we'll pay for you to fly back. Come and join us for a day. Get signed up. We'll send you back on holiday. Use your initiative. Start being proactive. Behave like a club that wants a player. It's remarkable. I am honestly just absolutely stunned. Sometimes, you do forget how badly managed this football club is. It really does strike me. It strikes me sometimes how it catches me off guard. It really does sometimes how bad it is. It's like a stark reminder, isn't it, of who's in charge? Because this has been an absolute shambles of a summer, abysmal. This is from a football club that have just won their first trophy in almost half a century, that have got Europa League football next season. Apart from, all right, we sold Declan Rice, but ultimately we've got some very good players in our squad. A few very good players. You got your Paquetas, Gerd, decent players. Bowen, Benrahma, some really good quality players. This shouldn't be a time for why are we in turmoil? Why is this club always struggling? It always feels like it's self-inflicted. We've got £105 million inserted into our bank account. I appreciate it's in instalments, but you get my point. Over the course of the next few years, West Ham have had that injection of money. Money shouldn't really be a problem for West Ham this summer. It really shouldn't be much of an issue. Can't even get James Ward-Prowse from Southampton, who are relegated, and we can't get an agreement because we're so obsessed with getting with a deal. It's almost like West Ham have this mindset of how much do you want for a player? Whatever they say, oh, it's too much. It's almost like our automatic response. We never go, okay, fine, we can make that work. I'm absolutely appalled. I mean, by the way, as this is happening, because this is breaking as I'm recording this, okay? So I'm just trying to get an update now from XWH employee on what's happening. It's quite remarkable. So X is saying that they're going to look more into it, but it looks like the player is going to Ajax. That does appear to be the case. Apparently, they've come in at the last minute and said that that's the case. I mean, it's stunning when you read it. West Ham was said to be negotiating the final terms of the fee. Negotiating the final part of the fee. We've known about this for like 3 weeks. Like, Why is it taking so long? Why does every single bit of business we do at this football club take miles long? It doesn't take Ajax very long, did it? Didn't take Ajax on notice to get a fee agreed and get because the player's now going for his medical, so they've already agreed the fee. Maybe just crazy. Maybe don't come mad. They maybe just came in and went, "We want that player." They went, "Well, we'll sell him to 15 million." They went, "Yeah, all right, no worries. We'll do a 35 million pound buyback clause. Yeah, no problem. We'll have that. Yeah, no problem. Agreed the fee. Let's get him in." How crazy as it sounds, maybe they just want to get the player in and show the player some love and say, "We want you. We're going to get you into our football club." Something that West Ham never seem to ever learn from and think, well, I mean, look at us this summer. XWHU employee put up an update, I think it was yesterday. We're going to do some videos on these things coming up, but I'm just sort of talking about it quickly now. Edson Alvarez, prime example. How long have we been talking about Edson Alvarez this summer? Apparently our number one defensive midfielder target. We've not even put a bid in. And it's quite amazing. The update from the club was they're now, what is it? They are now putting the final touches to the bid. The final touches to a bid. I've never heard such rubbish in all my life. I'm sick to death of how this football club's being run. It is just remarkable, really. It's shocking. And I appreciate this video is basically just me ranting and getting loads off my chest. But you can't help it, can you? You can't help but be so angry with this. Because not only now, once again, have we had another dent in this transfer window, another player's now not coming, but it's just embarrassing, isn't it? I mean, the rest of the football world must be absolutely laughing their heads off at West Ham, and I don't bloody blame them. If this was Tottenham going for this, I think it's hilarious. I think, what on earth's going on? It's an absolute disgrace how this club is conducting themselves this summer. A disgrace. They've got no excuses with this Borges deal because they are going to roll out the excuses now. And you know what they'll be? It'll be the agent was a pain, or the agent fees were too much. The player was, had a change of heart, and they'll come out of all this rubbish. When really, this should have been wrapped up. He should have been wearing a shirt a couple of weeks ago. Done. Should have been gearing up, ready to come start training for West Ham now. Done. There was no excuse. As I said, the players in Portugal, we'll go to Portugal then. Get a plane, book it out there, get out there. You can have medical tests all over the world. You could book to medical from there. Say, right, you go to the hospital, we'll pay for get your medical, we'll come and meet you, we'll bring the kit, you can do your video there, we'll get you, and you can enjoy the rest of your holiday. Why couldn't we do that? What was the hold up? Because West Ham is simply inept when it comes to decision making, when it comes to business, it appears. I mean, you've got to look at our stadium. It's just that is the pinnacle of it, isn't it? Don't own our stadium, we're constant arguments with the tenants. I know I'm going off on a tangent here, but I'm just making a point that it's just every aspect of the club's a problem. It's like we struggle to get anything dealt with properly. It's embarrassing. It really is an embarrassment. Another real big mark against David Sullivan's name, this is. Because fans are getting exhausted with this club and how it's being managed. They really are. It's becoming... Well, this is unforgivable, this one. For me, this is really is unforgivable. There are no other excuses other than West Ham have once again failed to do what was required to get a player over the line. We're doing it now. We're doing it as we speak. We did it yesterday with James Ward-Prowse. Aren't we? Let's be honest. I mean, I said it in a video, I think 2 days ago regarding Ward-Prowse. I felt there was a confidence we could get him. But then we go in with another pointlessly sort of meaningless offer. That's nowhere near what they want. They want 40. We put 17 plus 3. They went, well, no, we want 40. So we put 25 in for a full package. And they're going to go, well, no. It's just so pathetic the way we behave. I really am going to try my best to, because this is just the reason I'm really annoyed at this stage is because it's raw. This is just breaking now, this news. So I'm just processing it in my head as I'm recording this, to be honest. Regarding Carlos Borges. So hence why I'm very annoyed and frustrated. And I will, dust myself down, I'm sure, and try and come back with a bit more of a positive air. But at the moment, let's be honest, this is hard. This summer has been incredibly testing for this club, for a fan of this football club. It's been so badly managed from the very start that I'm just stunned. I am actually in shock because the Carlos Borges deal, as I've said, was the one that I genuinely felt that we'd get over the line. I didn't think there was a problem there. The confidence was there for throughout from all reporters that West Ham were going to get this deal done. It was all pretty much done. Fabrizio Romano reported it. Ex-WHU employee reported it. Jacob Steinberg. It had been reported all over the board that the deal was done. He was going to come to West Ham, basically. So I had it in my mind that that was it. Hence why, I mean, I've been like most fans, don't get me wrong with Borges, where I'm thinking, why is he not done? Why is he not done? Why is he not done? And again, these silly excuses keep trickling out from the club, don't they? Like with everything. Always these boring excuses and tiring excuses we have to keep listening to. When really, it's just down to West Ham. There's a common denominator in all of these stories, isn't there? And all of these negotiations and I'm not just talking about this summer, I'm talking, way back. The shambles that this club operates in. That we go for players. Jesse Lingard last summer, an absolute joke of a summer, chasing a bloke. We didn't know what was going on. We offered him a deal, and then we didn't. There was this, and it just went on and on and on. The end, he didn't even come. It was just like, it's just constant, embarrassing scenarios West Ham keep finding themselves in. But as I say, there's one common denominator in all of these: West Ham United and David Sullivan. Our poor recruitment policies, our embarrassing strategies to how we deal with things, and tightness, this obsessive tightness with every single deal. We've got to try and undercut the price as much as we possibly can. And I'm not a moron. I understand you're not going to accept every price that comes your way and we'll just pay whatever, we don't care. I understand we've got budgets. I'm not suggesting that, just bankrupt the football club. I'm not saying that. But come on. We've just had a £105 million injection, plus what you were going to spend. Bearing in mind, we just won a trophy, which comes with prize money, and you're selling players on top of that as well. We've got Skamaka going out the door, which we'll talk about in another video. You've got Creswell's going to be going, I think, for about £5 million. Don't give me this rubbish when we can't afford £30 million for Paul Prowse. We can't afford it. Why? Why can't we afford it? Why is everything always too expensive for West Ham? Why is every single player out of our reach? Can't quite get to that price. Alex Scott, Bristol City, regarded as one of the best players in the Championship. One that clearly is going to be a top player. Clearly. It's not a case of, well, you're not sure. He's an average player. He's going to be a top player. 25 million. Ooh, we can't do that. Why? Why can't you spend that money? Why can't you invest in the future and go, we're going to buy a top young midfielder to come and play at this team? It's just remarkable. And it's moments like this with this Borges deal that make you, well, certainly me, and I'm sure others, make me just cry out for change at this club. Desperately think, my God, we desperately need new ownership, new direction, hunger, desire. Ambition. I know we use that word's banded around a lot, but ambition. It's why Declan Rice isn't here anymore. People might say, oh, yeah, no, because he wanted to go and win Champions League. But West Ham could have been in the Champions League a couple of years ago. We didn't show any ambition. We had a January, if you remember that season, where we finished 6th. And we didn't push on. And the following season, we did exactly the same thing. We didn't push on. We didn't invest. We didn't go for it. Because of that. Because of our owner and his obsessive penny pinching and short-sighted vision all the time. And it's, and this is just another, damning piece of evidence against our ownership and our club. Because, make no mistake, this is very bad. Very, very, very bad. This is not something that's going to be sort of, not the end of the world. It's really damning if the fact that we've had this player agree to deal with West Ham, was keen to come to West Ham, it'd all been sorted. And yet our bloody owner has sat back again and obsessed over a buyback clause. Obsessed. Well, this is what they're saying, whatever it may be. Whatever it is, this committee, this strategy, whatever you want to call it, is a complete mess. And I'm sick to death of it. I really am fed up with the summer now. And I will try and recover. I will try and now, dust myself down a little bit, as I've said, and sleep on it and hopefully not feel too bad. But it's going to be hard, isn't it? Let's be honest. As West Ham fans, to accept this now and move forward is very tough. Because wherever way we want to try and dress this up, and the club will try and dress it up, this window has been an absolute shambles.